should be around. And we are going to go into a little bit of a story about what Ask Brien is all about. Ask Brien, AskBrien.com. Ask Brien is a website that educates business owners and business people to solve business problems. There's various methods that Ask Brien uses. One method is the business community. Business community meaning that a dry cleaner in Atlanta, Georgia can ask the dry cleaner in Seattle, Washington, hey, somebody left their fur coat, what do I do? Business owners in the same vertical may have dealt with that same issue in the past, and they can help each other out, and that is one method. There's also the experts. Experts on Ask Brien, and to become an expert, you must qualify. Not everyone will become an expert. Typically, we want 10,000 hours of experience before we allow somebody to become an expert. There are other ways somebody can become an expert if they've done something very unusual or various criteria, basically almost like in a logarithm where we'll figure out whether or not they can be an expert with less than 10,000 hours. But for most people, it's going to be 10,000 hours in a specific area, in a specific subject, because we want experts. We don't want people that are just saying they're an expert. So we pre-qualify people. Experts on the Ask Brien website are allowed to post videos, ebooks, blog posts, and webinars. The webinars is on our master calendar, and any day anyone can go on. If you're a subscriber, look at the webinars that are for that day or tomorrow, schedule it on your Google Calendar or Outlook or iCalendar, and determine which webinars you want, and you'll get alerts for determining when you want to watch a webinar. Everything you need to solve your business problems, that's what Ask Brien is all about. Ask Brien, again, is AskBrien.com, and you're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. And without any further ado, we have our guest, Mr. Lou Vargas. Lou, you there?
I am here, man. Welcome. Thanks for having me, and welcome to Thursday.
Well, every day, and Thursday is a great day, but so is every day. Every day in life is every day in life is a great day. So, some of our listeners may recall you were on our show way back in October of 2017, almost a year and a half ago, and you had created such a stir and given us such an enlightenment about all the different areas that you were able to talk about and discuss that we decided that we needed to have you back on for a refurbish, an update, and also for the people who have never, ever heard you. So, welcome back.
I'm sure there'd be a few of those. Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. That 2017 was right after I did a keynote at the Inc. 5000 conference in Palm Springs. In fact, we did the call-in right from the hotel there, so it was pretty cool. And a lot's been going on since then, and I'm sure people wanting to hear how to grow their business, not to listen just to talk about what I did.
Well, exactly. And are you still on the Inc. list?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we're looking to add we've added a second company to the existing company that's been on there for 5 years, and we added a second company this year and looking to add a third one in a different vertical, in a different category next year.
So let's go over those categories that you are. So the current company that you were back in 2017, was that TM Brand, or is that somebody else?
Brand TM, yeah, Brand TM, which is a branding and consulting company for Fortune 500s as well as medium-sized companies.
The big boys. Now, as a question for you, why does a Fortune 500 company need to go to an agency? Can't they just do it in-house? Don't they have enough resources?
Yeah, good question. And yes, monetary resources, for sure they have. But what they lack is the agility and the ability to sense trends and be in the cutting edge and the pulse of what the consumers really want. And I tell you why, because the typical people that are staffed by Fortune 500s and their ad agents in their advertising and marketing departments are all MBAs. So they get their MBA and they're newly minted and they're fresh, out of school, and they get hired by big Fortune 500 and they're experts in marketing. Man, they don't know diddly squat about how to grow a business. What entrepreneurs, what middle-sized company business owners go through, they have no clue because they've never lived it and they've never done it for the most part. I don't want to generalize, but for the most part, They don't.
And
So
they're
they don't
not
really
experts on Ask Brian either, because they don't have the 10,000 hours.
Dude, I have a perfect example. My nephew works for Intuit. He got his MBA from Virginia. Here and there, he'll call me like, "Hey, Uncle, we're going to talk about launching a program for the Small Business Network, and we're going to do boom, boom, boom. What's your thought?" I'm like, "Okay, this works. This will suck. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work." Like, "Oh, but we did our research and we did our focus groups." I said, "You can do all the research and focus groups you want. I'm telling you, the pulse of the small business owner and medium-sized company owner, it's not going to work." So that's the reason why. Yeah, they have the big budgets, but they also have, they lack the hands-on experience, and that's why they reach out to experts and Ask Brien people to say, "Hey, help us out, give us an insight."
And so that company was launched when?
Brand TM?
Yeah, Brand TM.
That was it was 2013. It sold a previous a traditional marketing ad agency, sold it to an equity firm, and that company, went on to do some stuff. The equity firm took it over, and they ran with it. Brand TM was creation of loving growing businesses, but also knowing that there's a lot of business owners that think that quote unquote marketing is just putting dollars into Facebook ads and Google PPC and maybe a few throwaways here and there, and it's really to educate them, enlighten them as to other ways in the digital world as well as the offline world of actual direct mail, to merge the two and do so effectively and efficiently and, more importantly, cost effective.
Now, that became, when did that get on the Inc. list?
2014, I believe.
So right away, pretty quickly.
Well, you have to have a trajectory, just fairly quickly. Because when we got approached by the Mansueto Ventures, who owns Inc., the Inc. brand, they sent a request to see what was going on. Because I know the folks there and stay in touch about, hey, we're going to do this venture, or I'm looking at doing that X, Y, or Z. So that's the trajectory of growth was very fast and has been traditionally, because of the fact that when you take a startup and you do the right components of great marketing, and assuming you have great products and services, and that's the start of anything. If your product stinks, services stink, it's only going to be very short-lived, and then it just goes on to a downward spiral.
And so is it currently listed on Inc.?
That has been Brand TM is rebranded into Business Titans, and Business Titans is the umbrella of the various companies that we run now. Because Brand TM was one-on-one type of consulting for companies, small business companies, but it came just so untenable to be involved with 30 projects, 50 projects, and have a sanity. I didn't want to go into the traditional. Myself and the board members didn't want to kind of delve into the traditional ad agency again. So it became more of an educational consulting practice.
When you use the word "we," who are you referring to?
Myself and one of the co-founders, F.J. Jones. He came from the ad world of Ogilvy and Mather.
Oh, a small little ad agency I heard of.
Yeah, it's kind of a small little company. In fact, we just wrapped up a project with them. Interesting you say about how the big boys, they reached out to us regarding a banking product and project they wanted to do, and we've been doing that for the last 6 months, and we just wrapped it up.
Has that been launched?
It was, I can't name the bank, but it was a product that was for small. It is a product for small. It's in the credit card industry for small businesses, primarily less than between $2 to $5.5 million is their sweet spot that they're hitting. They're going after Capital One is what they're wanting to do, this particular bank, with their products. And they're not looking at whales with that one product. They're looking in the sweet spot of $2 to $5 million.
And what is your role with the company? Are the CEO, or you're just a consultant?
Co-founder.
You're a co-founder. But your title would be what, CEO? COO?
Well, yeah. I want to get titled, yeah. Sure, yes.
You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No worries.
So when you now, did you say? I thought you said there's more than one company though under this umbrella. So what are the other
Correct.
companies doing? Are they also in the digital agency area, or are they?
No, they're in the education space as far as literally taking, and has not launched to the public. So we do private consulting at this stage of the game. We do private consulting with individuals who form an advisory group, and think of it more of on a mentoring basis. So it's different from, it's more done with you and educating individuals and companies on how to do the growth. That's the one facet of it, if that makes sense. It's not your traditional, oh, we're an ad agency, we're going to buy ads for you and do it all for you, the done-for-you model. It is more an advisory role, mentoring role of how companies can do their internal growth and not spend a boatload of money hiring an ad agency out.
So basically, you're training the company how to do it. Is that correct?
Correct. I think you've heard of, there's several models like, YPO, is a pretty traditional model where individuals have high, fast growth companies that become members of it if they're under, I think, 40 now. And you have mentoring sessions. In our particular case, we have them once a week. Depending on the level of involvement, we'll go into it, maybe twice a month, 3 times a month, and just, look at exactly what the companies need. Are they doing great in terms of lead growth? Where are they thinking at is sales conversion, or are they doing great in sales conversion, but they're having very little lead, coming into the pipeline, if you will? Then we look at some of the issues of financials where, for example, somebody may have great revenue, but when you look at the net, the net profit, or in some cases the lack thereof, there's just because they're overspending. So we look at some of the tweaks of the financials that go into figuring out exactly how to position the company for making money. And if in cases where the company's been around for a while, then we look for exit strategies. Are they going to sell it? Are they going to merge it? Like in the case that we did, we sold we exited twice out of companies in the last 10 years. I've exited out of companies. So it's an educational and a business advisory mentoring group model.
When you use the word group, though, you're referring, you're still doing one-on-one. Like if you did it for Intuit as an example, you'd be dealing with Intuit. You wouldn't be dealing with Intuit and 5 other companies, correct?
Right. It depends, of course, on the NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and the non-competes within the industries. We can't take on, let's say, Intuit and then go and deal with their, vendor or their particular competition. But it is, I want to personally get more away from the one-on-ones and more into the education area, because that's where I see that there's lacking in terms of actual hands-on things that business owners, entrepreneurs, and startup folks can do to grow their companies. And it's when you do it on a one-on-one basis, it's very taxing. I've flown from New York, Chicago, and I just got back from San Francisco in a period of 1 week. So it becomes very taxing. When you do consulting on an advisory mentoring group on a digital model, if you will, it's fantastic because you could have 15, 20 different founders, CEOs, business people, managers in some cases that are part of that are assigned, and you deal with them on a bigger scale, but at the same time still deliver the results that they want and need.
You discussed earlier about the sales conversions or sometimes it's the lead generated issue, etc. Were you referring to, or is there a differentiation between online and offline companies regarding that issue? Because
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the metrics that you look at are completely different. Of course, the delivery mechanisms are different, and the research, behind the actual stats behind how to determine the success of an online company is completely different. Measurements, the KPIs are completely different. Key KPIs, for those that don't know, the key performance indexes, KPIs that we look at. So online is way different from offline, because online you have the ability to do massive marketing scale that you can't generally do on a brick and mortar offline.
So you discussed, you mentioned KPI, and you define what it is, but how would people know what the KPI is for different services or products or their company themselves?
Well, for example, in the service industry, let's go there for I've dealt with in the service industries in the healthcare field. Specifically, let's say a dental practice that has 3 locations, and they've been around for maybe, let's say, 10, 15 years. So they're pretty well established in their community. There are 3 different locations. The KPIs that we would look at, and we would have either the actual owner of the practice or owners in some cases look at is what their cost, obviously the cost relative to running each location. What are they spending in terms of ad dollars to bring in new patients? And in some cases, the older practices tend not to spend a lot of money in terms of advertising to bring in on board new patients. And they come to some extent on a comfortable level, like, well, we've got X amount of patients. When we look at the KPIs, the key performance indexes for a healthcare facility, a healthcare dental facility, is going to be how many new patients are you getting in per week, then, of course, per month, and how many of those, what types of services are being given to them as just in a typical exam, or are there additional upsell services, if we will, that we could, bring them into. And so that's what we look at is are they, okay, they're an existing patient, how often do they go back to the doctor or the dentist within a 12-month period of time? Oh, they only come in once a year to get a teeth cleaning. Well, how come we haven't offered them additional services or additional offerings that you have within the dental practice? So that's one of the KPIs that you look at is the frequency.
And upsell, I guess. But.
Absolutely, which is the same model that you use in the same concept on an online business is, you have an introductory product, then you have an upsell. Would you like fries with that? And that goes both ways, offline as well as online. So those key performance indexes of recurring customers, new customers, and upsells is a very important component of looking at how your business is doing. Not just, I made $2, but what did it take to earn that $2? Perhaps maybe we take the same amount of investment, the same amount of capital and money that's being invested into the business, and instead of earning $2, we could turn around and make it $4 or $3.50. Thereby, when you look at the key, KPIs, key performance indexes, what is it exactly that we do to increase the profit without necessarily increasing the amount of outlay necessary for that? Which, in this particular case, as far as marketing is concerned, generally speaking, that's the only general way that you're going to get new customers, new patients, new clients into your business. You have to market, you have to advertise, and in terms of how I mentioned earlier about using the model of the peso, which is PESO, like Mexican peso, but it stands for paid, earned, social, and owned media. And we look at in the KPIs is each business, what are they spending or what efforts are they putting into each of these categories across the board to bring in not just patients, but also branding. It's a matter of branding. How often is your message out there? Where are the channels, the multi-channel marketing you talked about earlier? Where are the different channels? Is it strictly on email? Is it strictly on video? Is it strictly on shared media, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn to some extent, depending on the nature of the business? Or is it just segregated only into paid advertising? And the beauty about the peso model is that you can bring in a ton of new business and revenue without spending more on the paid media source, on the paid media wavelength or channel, by using and utilizing correctly and smartly the owned media, the shared media component, and certainly your earned.
We're going to be right back, Lou. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Talking to Lou Vargas.
Right now at IHOP, order any breakfast combo and we'll sweeten the deal with all-you-can-eat pancakes. So get out your all-you-can-eat silverware, because these pancakes aren't gonna all-you-can-eat themselves, because pancakes don't do that. Get IHOP's all-you-can-eat pancakes with any breakfast combo. Or just get the all-you-can-eat pancakes for $4.99. What else you got going on today?
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
Something big is coming to Castaic.
Is it a dinosaur, Bob?
No, Blanche.
Is it the 2020 Olympics?
No.
I know. We're finally hosting the World Cup.
No, silly. They're building Castaic High.
Bob, no way.
Go visit CastaicHighProject.com. You'll get all the latest details.
What's that web address again, Bob?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Again?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Bigger than a dinosaur?
That's right. CastaicHighProject.com.
Having solar installed probably isn't what you think. Our friendly team members work for a big solar company. We took our expertise and created a local company that makes sense for Santa Clarita.
HomeLink Solar can reduce your energy expenses now with a free consultation. Visit HomeLinkPros.com. Discover how you can save with solar without the big expense. HomeLink Solar. Your home better, your life better.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Hometown, your hometown station.
You are listening to the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien, and you're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Well, one co-host is out of town. The other co-host can't be found. So we've got just me and my excellent, fabulous, great guest, Mr. Lou Vargas. Lou, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome, Mac. I love that introduction. I feel like I'm one of the guys in the Golden State Warriors.
Hopefully your name is Stephen Curry.
yeah, exactly, right, huh?
Nobody else matches up with him. He's
oh, man, talk about it. Talk about just changing, innovating an entire way of looking at things, and that's what really, business people should look at. It's like, well, how could I change my business, my small little business, and be different from just the norm and be innovative without spending a ton of money?
And that's a great segue for what we're just about to go into. You mentioned a couple of times when we first started the show about peso, and we're not referring to the currency in Mexico. Louis already mentioned that. But try to explain that a little bit again, because I don't think everybody caught that.
Yeah, peso is an acronym for paid, earned, social, and owned media. Let's go into the paid media, and I'll make it very simplistic. Obviously, it won't convolute this. What paid media is exactly what it is. Stuff, those little ads you buy in the local grocery store cart, or direct mail pieces that people, advertisers, realtors will send. Advertising of any sort is a paid media. Billboards, TV ads, radio ads, promo ads, direct sales pieces. Anything that you have to pay out of your own pocket is considered paid media. That would be, of course, online advertising is, of course, paid media, Google ads, Facebook ads, et cetera, et cetera. That's paid media.
What would you I don't mean to interrupt, but what would you consider SEO to be?
SEO, if you have to pay for it to an agency, is for sure a paid media source. But however, if somebody does it internally, or doesn't have to pay for it because their nephew's really good at SEO, then that would be in the earned category because earned, owned. And some of these intersect, they kind of, there's circles that they obviously intersect. In the case of SEO, it would be the owned because it's nothing that you're having to pay for, but it's something, content you own or create on your own. And SEO, which is search engine optimization, is exactly that. It's optimizing content online and also doing tweaks for your website that place it with the right title tags and keywords and things like that, that it has a higher relevance on Google, on Bing or Yahoo, so that your website is up in the top 5, hopefully, when people search, plumbers, Dubuque, Iowa, they'll be there.
Okay, and before I interrupted, you were still going over the peso, so why don't you continue?
Yeah, so going into from peso, of course, the P is paid media, and the E is earned media. Again, in the 4 acronyms of PESO, the only one that's costing businesses money is the paid media, of course. The other 3 are free in the sense of not having to write a check, generally speaking, to anyone or anybody, any company. Earned media is anything, it's more of the branding category, what others say about your brand or your business. So what does that mean? Well, that could be some local newspaper or journalist doing a write-up in their local newspaper or at the Chamber of Commerce about you opening your business, about you offering, a new product line, or about the success of the business because, let's say, somebody is a female, is a successful interior designer, and has celebrity clients that, they're raving about her, and that's a write-up. You're not paying for that. Another great example, we do this continuously and advise people to do that, is there's top 10 lists in all cities. Newspapers like here in the Los Angeles area, there's a top 10 list for LA Times. The LA Daily News in the Valley has top 10 list categories for plumbers and architects and realtors, et cetera, all the different industries that are generally consumer-oriented. You can submit and request to be a part of that entry of being a top 10 category of that. You get on there, that's an earned media. It's free. You're not paying anything for it, and another third party saying great things about your business or about your practice, and you get a nice little write-up. That's earned media. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it seems a little bit like publicity, but public relations.
That is part of publicity, yeah. The peso model originated from the PR world, from the public relations world, where public relations folks are like, okay, yeah, we always put in, we have to pay we have to position our products or our companies or our clients and pay for that on various ways, on TV, on radio, on billboards, different ways. So they devised or came up with this method of not just looking to get branding or public relations or PR other than just paying for it. What are other ways that can be, generate buzz and brand awareness by using other strategies? And therefore, that was developed exclusively from the PR world. Having had an ad agency in the past, I knew that existed. So I was like, okay, well, how the heck do we take that from the public relations world and make it more into the real world small business growth and marketing field? And how can people do that on their own without having to pay an agency to do that? So the beauty of that is the fact that is how you're able to get branding as well as marketing by using all these different pieces of the puzzle.
So let's take a little bit of a pivot here. We've got maybe 15 to 20 minutes left, and I want to take a pivot. I want to go. So somebody is just starting out. All right, maybe they have a retail store, maybe they don't. They're just starting to go online. Maybe they're just an online business only. Okay, how are they going to start their and they've got the website developed. We got to at least go to a certain stage. They've got a website. All right. And everyone says if you build it, they will come, but that's really not true. If they build it, the web developer will get some money. That's about all I know. How is that person going to first, in a retail store, I think it's easier. I guess the retail operator, he's got, some people that come in. They may have an email address. He may have a built-in list of people he can contact so that he could start out that way. The online person, except for massive amounts of advertising, I just don't see how you can become very effective in a very short period of time. So I'm going to ask the guru what he would do.
Well, first and foremost, somebody that opens up a business in the online space, obviously they have to have a plan, and that more often than not, what's lacking in business plans is the way to get new blood, new customers into their business pipeline, and that's usually where the rubber meets the road. If you don't have new business coming in, then I don't care if you're Sears, even though they now revamped, you're going to suffer. So to answer specifically your question, yes, I agree. Usually people get suckered into like spending, insane amounts of money to build a website, and it's got all the bells and the whistles. That's fantastic. It's just like throwing a rock into the ocean. Big deal. Where's it going to go? Nobody notices. So the whole point about having an online or offline business is to really be consistent with branding and marketing. Cannot be a one-shot deal. Specifically to answer your question in regards to an online space, yeah, you're right. On an offline situation, you can pass out flyers and do word-of-mouth buzz. Hey, come to my store, et cetera, et cetera. Online doesn't exist, so that means you have to take it to the next level by using all the digital marketing channels available that are for free. And depending upon your business, depending upon the products or services that someone offers on an online business, they would have to for sure have presence on all the major social channels, which is Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, to some extent Vine, not so much, unless somebody really is into video. But that would be the first start. You have to create content and awareness via those channels, because if you don't, then you're just going to have a website. Big deal. How do you drive people to that website? So you begin to, and I discussed this in a book that I wrote called The Authority Mindset, to really become that individual who is in that niche and a go-to person, just like Ask Brien. People have questions about business, how to grow the business, how to start a business. They'll go to the Ask Brien show. In the same way, somebody, for example, might have a clothing store. It's a perfect example that I worked on one about a year ago. Great line of products, fantastic. Great pricing. So how are they going to get in their online store to be known? She started to put out content on all the social media channels that I mentioned. She approached locally the Chamber of Commerce, which she joined, to do a write-up on her. That's earned media. The social media is, of course, Facebook. And then she started slowly to cultivate an email list of everybody that was in her sphere that she would meet and say, listen, I'd love to send you some, information about the products that I have and whatnot. And she began to build her email list. Then she began to do videos almost twice a week about the various product lines and had, quote-unquote, models modeling the particular lines that she had created, and posted those to all of the social media channels. She had created a YouTube channel, which became really fantastic for the age market that she was serving, which was the demographic was 28 to 35. Single women who college educated and who had disposable income and lived in certain demographic cities. So she dialed in, and we helped her dial into her avatar audience. Can't just be like, my stuff looks great on every girl. Well, yeah, can every girl want to afford it? And two, you have to really create a very, deep research as to who your audience is, and then you can serve up that audience, ask questions of them. They'll ask questions of you as well. And in that particular situation with clothing line, it took off. She did get, of course, some serious traction on PR locally at the local level. I mean, you cannot approach the local CBS station or ABC station, lift up your hand and say, I have an online store. Would you do a write-up on me? There has to be some buzz created on a local level and prove that there is traction, and you're, have something interesting or a different perspective to offer, then that interests the media, the big media.
I have a question about what you're talking about. You're talking about clothing. Now, was this online or offline?
Online.
So my question, and I've always had this particular interest, is online. I go into the store, I try the shirt on. Sometimes the shirt fits me well. Sometimes it's too big and sometimes too small, same size. How do you handle that on a online clothing business?
Same method and same way that Zappos did, and that's why they became so great. you offer a no-holds-barred guarantee return policy. And my wife, in fact, shops primarily now via online for her clothing. And it's called Venus. And so they are fantastic. So in terms of the return policy, no problem. Return it, no questions asked. So that's how you deal with it. Because I've had the same thing. We order something, it's like, a little bit loose, or I don't really like the color, so I'll just return it. That's the way that you have to have. Customer service is of utmost importance in any business. I don't care if it's a widgets manufacturing company or an online store. If you don't have world-class customer service and full 100% money-back guarantees without hassles, then you're starting off on the wrong foot.
So does your business have guarantees, or how do you handle customer service from your business? What if I was a client?
Good question. Yes, we do. In other words, on the mentoring side for the Business Titans Group, as it's called, the Business Titans Advisory and Mentoring Group, we have a guarantee that if somebody doesn't recoup their investment within a specified period of time, assuming they do the work that we tell them to do, and there's ways we can track that, then they get their money back. Then we have, even more incentives in different areas of not just getting their money back, but even double the amount of their, that they invested into the advisory group. Because we don't want to fleece anybody of their money and say, hey, we've got 30 people that we fleece money from. Hey, who's the next victims? It's really being authentic is hugely important in anything that you do, and knowing that when you go to sleep and that you did the best that you could for everyone, and if there is some scenarios where someone's upset, you deal with it head on. And in the 3 years that we've run the VIP private-only membership group, we haven't had one single request for a refund. Had people say, well, I'm not getting my result right away, then we do, it's like, okay, let's look at what are you doing? Did you do this? Well, no. Okay, did you do this? Yeah, we kind of did. So then when you tweak it and you go full on board and they realize, like, yeah, they should have done it better, and then we get them back on track. But in any business, I don't care if it's online, retail, brick and mortar, dental, healthcare, legal services, you have to have a customer satisfaction world-class situation. Otherwise, you're not going to get referrals. People aren't going to be happy with you. You're going to get bad press, and in today's, Yelp world, that's a kiss of death because they're hard to get out. I mean, close to impossible. You can kind of overcome them. There's, certain things you can do, but you get a bad Yelp review in your business and you get more than one, then it becomes a pattern. Then people realize, like, well, okay, yeah, this business is, I'm not going to do business with them. I don't want to chance it, if you will.
So,
to answer the question?
Yes. Now, again, going back to this clothing business, we have about 3 minutes before we're going to take a break, so just understand the timing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this clothing business. I mean, you've got, companies from Amazon and Walmart, to Nordstrom's, whatever, and Zappos and everyone else. How do you possibly compete with such a big field? You can't compete on PPC because if Amazon wants to get the top spot, they're going to get the top spot.
They will, right. Yeah. They have. And interesting that you mentioned Amazon with this particular story because they are in Amazon because you have to have the Amazon outlet. If you don't, just in that kind of world, it's stupid. So you have to give up a percentage of your money to Amazon as a medium, as a channel. But you cannot compete on a PPC basis for sure in that clothing industry because the margins are so tight. So what is it? What do you do? Is really it becomes a scenario of having it being more of a boutique brand rather than just clothing. It becomes a very a very sought after clothing brand, and that's where we in her particular case we went into the influencer marketing game. Which is partly of the shared media and earned media. I told you some of these intersect. The influencer marketing is probably some people have heard of is, you reach a blogger, somebody who's in the journalist in the field of fashion, and you do a write-up or, you do shared. There's different ways. You do shared joint ventures of ways to promote the brand, and that's exactly what she's done is via the influencer market. is to not that she has traction. You can't do that oftentimes right out of the gate because, first of all, it's like, well, never heard of you, don't know what the quality is, et cetera, the returns, the customer service. But when you do that, they build upon one another. You use other different marketing channels to be able to not just sell it on Amazon, but also be able to, position the brand in such a way that you're getting orders online directly to your website.
So we only have about a minute left, but, what you got me thinking about is all these Nike and Converse and all these, NBA stars that are getting sneakers. That technically is an influential marketing in a different
Absolutely.
way. And that's been going on since what, the 1900s. I mean, the Marlboro Man.
Exactly.
I mean, it's always so. That is very
That's
interesting.
for traditional Ogilvy math or, David Ogilvy approach of marketing. Influencer marketing was definitely, one of the ways that he, positioned brands, whether it was Gillette shavers or Rolls Royces.
Well, if Michael Jordan's wearing that sneaker, then I know that if I wear that sneaker, I'm going to be the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I gotta have my Jordan so I can jump, 10 feet high.
And then I still don't know if I can hit the rim, but I'll try.
Yeah, you might hit the net like me, right? If you're lucky.
All right.
But yeah, really, influencer marketing in any business, small or large, is crucial.
You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with our guest, Lou Vargas.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers and Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
Cardinellis here for Rock and Jump. Jump Sky High is now Rock and Jump, the ultimate trampoline park. Battle all comers in extreme dodgeball. Race to the top on a vertical ops climbing wall and grab a jousting stick and be the last one standing in the X being challenged. Or hit the slam dunk zone and try your newest tricks in the foam pit arena at Rock and Jump, Santa Clarita's premier indoor trampoline park on the Old Road in Valencia.
Have you heard about Assistance League Retail Store? For a good time and a great deal and bargains that are an amazing steal, there are friendly volunteers ready to share a smile. So come on in and stay a while. We take donations on gently used goods, and proceeds from our sales stay in the neighborhood. So for a great buy and a special find, come visit our store anytime. Assistance League Resale Store located at 24369 Main Street in downtown Newhall.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
At College of the Canyons, you're going places. Summer sessions begin June 3rd, 10th, 17th, and July 8th. Learn a new skill by taking Spanish, real estate, or art. Pick up a quick transferable class like biology, history, or sociology. Going on vacation? Take an online class from anywhere. COC also offers zero textbook cost class options. Visit canyons.edu/class schedule to search for classes today.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Welcome to the Ask Brien Show. The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show, ASKBRIEN, because the only way to spell Brien is BRIEN. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. My co-hosts have abandoned me. I'm all alone, but don't worry, we have an expert. We have an expert that really, really, really knows his stuff. If you've been listening for the last 50 minutes, you know his name is Lou Vargas. You there, Lou?
I am here. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for listening and putting up with me.
And me. I had to change the. I had to change it around because I was doing too much Lou's and not enough Vargas. And this time I went with a short Lou and a long Vargas. So you were mentioning earlier you had a book. What is the name of that book that you have?
The Authority Mindset. It talks about specifically what you can do when you're on a low budget to really begin to brand yourself and your business. And it's available on Amazon. It's not that much.
And so is it under your name or is it a pseudonym? Or?
Well, I was one of the co-authors on it, but if they look under The Authority Mindset, it's a collection of other experts in the area of marketing and advertising and public relations and business building.
If they type in your name on Amazon, would it come up?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Big dollar signs will show up when they come up on Amazon.
Those are your eyeballs. Anyway, so we were talking earlier about a startup, and it's really tough, you know. So maybe you spent $50,000, and now you're down to your last grand, and you've got your website up and running, things are going on, and you want to do something. You only have $1,000. You want to turn that into $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, hopefully, and then use that, and then we'll go on and go on and go on. So what do? You got $1,000 left. You got your website up. You have all your social media pages going. You're blogging a little bit. You've been open for a month. You don't even have a first customer, and you're like going, "What do I do now? I got $1,000. What are you going to do?"
You call Lewis and say, "Lewis, I'm dying here." That example is it's a very par for the course because it happens all the time. Unfortunately, people get fleeced a lot, not all the time, but a lot by web developers and designers about how to spend $7,000 or $8,000 on a website, which maybe they should have spent $400 and be good. So the obviously assuming that their product is great, the next thing to do is really assess exactly what assets that they have in their business on a social media scale. Because you're telling me, okay, well, they have their social media platforms, up and running, and you go check out the platform and you find out on Facebook they have 8 followers, of which 6 are in their family, and 2 of them are somebody from India, right? So, I mean, you really have to work at building the social media platforms out, and to give you a perfect purview of what I did with this one particular client we had a year and a half ago in the clothing industry, and we only took her on as a favor because she really didn't have it together. The only reason I took it on as a favor for her as well is because she was a member of one of the boards that I'm a part of, and in that she was a friend of a friend who is a multi-billionaire, and he didn't want to help her out in the sense of doing day-to-day stuff, and she didn't want her dad to be successful because of him. In any event, so what we did is we took some money and hired an outsourcer to spruce up the social media accounts and bring her more followers. That was crucial, to do an outreach in the influencer marketing for the clothing industry that fit the avatar audience that she was after. That cost her $350 to bring more followers into her Facebook, Instagram channels, and YouTube. The second $200 we spent was we hunted around for somebody to create some great videos of the clothing line that she had, and throw some music in there. And it ended up being a student from UCLA, and I hate to say that because I'm an SC guy, but it was a UCLA film student who was about to graduate, and he was fantastic at putting stuff together and wanted a portfolio of quote unquote businesses that he's worked for. So he did it for only $250 at the end of the day when he was done with a great slew of portfolio of videos that had music behind them and the models and all that. This thing looked like right out of, Fifth Avenue had done this, Madison Avenue. I mean, it was like, wow. So then we, in addition to that, then we ran some ads on Instagram and on Facebook with a very, very drilled down avatar audience of what I mentioned, 28 to 35, living in this case in the metro Los Angeles area, living in specific zip codes, who had disposable income, who've had purchased in the past clothing online and, products online. And
we got to wrap up. What is your website?
Well, people can reach me at on LinkedIn. I post content like 50 times a day there. Just look for Louis F. Vargas, Vargas, and that's F as in fabulous, fantastic, and friendly.
Thank you very much for having us on the show.
Thank you, guys. I hope it's been insightful.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I can put it back on. Lou, you there?
I am here. Rocky got here.
The engineer.
Right on time.